So, hello to all, and welcome to my talk. From first contribution to core community member, a journey through Python Docs GR. I'm Panagiotis, and also welcome to the first ever Python conference. So, who is Panagiotis? My name is Panagiotis Kias. I am a mixture of 60% business mindset and 40% programmer. I'm currently working at a company here in Greece. I'm the core maintainer of Python docs, the Greek translation of Python documentation. Also, I am responsible for community projects in PyGreece, and sometimes I play with LLMs, NLPs, and some automation scripting. This presentation has three independent parts, but they are also connected to each other. The first part is an introduction to the Python Docs GR project with a short description and an overview. The second part is a walkthrough of how you can contribute to an open source project. And the last part, my favorite one, is my personal story of how a LinkedIn post, some PRs and some commits and few PRs led to all of this. So, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's dive in Python Docs GR. At PyGreece, our second major project, apart from the conference itself, is the translation of the Python documentation into Greek. This has been a big step for our community. The repository is available on GitHub, and we are proud to have successfully transferred under the official Python account. This means our work is now officially recognized and part of the global Python ecosystem. This is the repository on GitHub. The repository currently contains 523 files. The translation effort started with Python version 3.12, and now we have moved forward to the latest 3.14 release. It has three branches, 3.12, 3.13, and 3.14, which correspond to the respective Python versions. Our main branch is always the latest version, and once we complete a significant number of files, we sync the work back to the previous versions, so everything stays up to date and online. So far, we have closed 104 issues, but 883 are still open. Each issue corresponds to a file that needs translation. Since many of these files exist in multiple versions, there are some duplicate issues across 3.12 and 3.14. To make contributing easier, every issue has labels based on the file lengths in lines of code. This helps new contributors quickly see whether a file is small or large. Our goal is to make the repository as accessible and beginner-friendly as possible, so people can easily take on their very first issue. We already have 13 contributors, and I look forward to seeing this number grow. At this point, I would really appreciate a round of applause for all of them. It truly means a lot for me and to us as a community. When I first heard about the translation project, I imagined I would need to keep to keep the file open in read the docs, read from there, and then translate, adding headers, bold, italics, and all the formatting. At first, I even thought it would feel like Word or LaTeX. But in reality, none of that is needed. Every file is a .po file, which contains many small code-like blocks. You don't have to deal with styling at all. Your only task is to provide the translation while keeping it consistent with English text, which is written inside the MSGID tag. The translated text goes inside the MSGstr tag. Each block has a number that indicates exactly where the translation will be attached in the documentation. To contribute to this project, we suggest using VS Code. However, there is also a program called POEdit, which provides a user-friendly interface for working with .po files. It organizes the content and makes the process easier. POEdit is in fact a dedicated editor, but built specifically for .po files. I actually use both tools. I use VS Code to do the translation, and we have even added dev containers so contributors can have the full environment ready to go. Then I use POEdit as a second step to check whether I have missed any styling details. Of course, you use tools to make the translation process easier. Even though someone who knows English can often understand the words, since most of them are technical, it's still essential to use tools to capture the meaning more accurately and to convey English words or phrases in Greek as completely as possible. Some of the tools you use include Google Translate, ChatGPT, GitHub Copilot, and I personally use Word Reference, an online multilingual dictionary. These tools help to ensure our translations are precise, natural, and consistent. One of our main challenges is dealing with the words that are very difficult to translate. Take, for example, socket, namespace, or module. While module can be translated as λειτουργική μονάδα, when you read or hear it in Greek, it can feel awkward and hard to connect with the actual concept of a Python module in context. Finding translations that are both accurate and natural for readers or listeners is one of the trickiest parts of this project. Sometimes we leave certain words untranslated, such as module, iterator. In other cases, we translate the word and include the English term in parentheses, and sometimes we mix Greek and English. We use Pospel to perform dictionary checks to the translated text, and PowerUp to format and style the .po files. Here you can see the commands we use. We also maintain a file called main.txt which serves as our custom dictionary. If a word isn't found in the local dictionary on your local machine, we can manually add it into main.txt. Additionally, we have a super command that combines all the above tasks, checking spelling, formatting the files, and sorting the dictionary, into a single command for convenience. For us, it was extremely significant to transfer the repository under the official Python organization on GitHub, as well as to complete the MVPs for the version 3.12, 3.13, and 3.14. The moment we successfully published these MVPs was a major milestone for the project. Currently, our main focus is to translate as many files as possible for Python 3.14, and since it is gonna be the latest version. However, we frequently adapt this translation for version 3.12 and 3.14 as well. Somewhere within this milestone is the review process, which is very important to ensure accuracy, consistency, and quality across all the versions of the translations. As we reach the end of the first part, I want to emphasize that contributing to this project is extremely valuable and means a lot for the entire community. I personally believe that project is a great opportunity for anyone who wants to learn and practice Git and GitHub, collaborate with others, and improve communication skills. At the same time, by translating Python documentation, you are also learning Python. But perhaps the greatest reward is knowing that your work makes Python accessible to everyone who speaks Greek. In the second part, we will make a smooth walkthrough of how you can contribute to an open source project. First off, I want to mention the benefits of contributing to an open source project. The first one is skill development. Contributing to an open source project is one of the fastest ways to grow as a developer. You work with real-world projects, you learn new tools, new practices. Every contribution teaches you something new. Second, community engagement. Open source is about people. You collaborate, discuss, argue, but always learn. Networking. Every issue, every PR, every discussion, it's an opportunity to meet new people. You create a relationship that can lead to new job opportunities, collaborations, mentorship. And finally, building your portfolio. Your work is visible, transparent, and permanent. I mean, you can show it. So, how to contribute to an open source project? It's very difficult when you find a project and want to contribute be like this. I hope to, but it is very difficult. It's reasonable and normal to feel this way. This step is essential and you are going to face it in every project, no matter your experience. You need to check the guides, build the project and run it. Then, of course, some errors will appear and you will have to install packages, explore the project, understand the folder and the file structure. And only then you can start contributing. You can start contributing by looking for issues to resolve. Search for labels like good first issue, beginners friendly, or PR welcome. Most of the time, these issues are simpler and less complicated, making them a great starting point. You might also discover a bug, so don't hesitate to open an issue and to report it. And who knows, you may even get the chance to fix it. Another way to contribute is by suggesting or adding new features that you feel is missing. Next, you need to set up the project. First, make a fork of the repository. This creates a copy that you can modify freely. Then clone your forked repository to your local machine. By following the project guidelines, install and run the project so it's ready for you to work on. Once the project is installed, your main goal is to work on the issue or the task you choose. Create a new branch and start making your changes there. After completing the development, you can commit your changes and push them to your fork. It's a good practice to make frequent commits, as this creates a clear flow of adding functionality and makes it easier to track your changes. Once you have completed your implementation, open a pull request. Then search for a reviewer and wait patiently for a code review. It's important to be patient while waiting for feedback. The review will provide you with feedback, which is very important. Someone you have never met is taking the time to give you advice. It's a great opportunity to share ideas, collaborate, and learn new practices. And yes, you did it. Your code is now part of the original repository. Your changes and your name is listed as a contributor to the project. And now we come to the third and final part of my talk. This one is very personal to me, so let's start. As the end of my military obligations approached, I felt a strong desire to get back on track. It was a strange period for me. I had been off track for almost a whole year. While the world of programming was moving forward quickly, I was standing still, disconnected. Before the military, I was working, but for some reason my desire to explore and do more with programming outside of work was blocked. After completing my service, my main goal was to start doing things and contributing again. I want to launch 2 side projects, 1 application and a podcast. I also want to unfreeze my GitHub account and explore open source. One day, while I was scrolling through LinkedIn, I came across a post. At that time, I wasn't even following the PyGris page. The post appeared on my feed simply because Paris had made a comment on it. Thank you, Paris. That small coincidence changed everything. I searched for PyGris, discovered the project, and then that's where the real journey began. I began with my very first issue, and I also joined the Discord server. From the start, I had a clear goal. I really liked the translation project and I want to contribute. Part of it was the desire to give back to the community, but another part was more personal. I want to meet new people, I want to unfreeze my GitHub account, and yes, I want to fill in some of those green tiles in the GitHub contribution graph. I started making commits and submitting pull requests, and after a few of them, something amazing happened. They added me as a contributor to the project. I was overjoyed. I had officially become part of a real open source project. And that boost of confidence changed everything. In parallel, I even started opening PRs in 2 or 3 other open source projects at the same time. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I truly belonged in the community again. After a short period, I became an official member of PyGris and had the chance to meet all these amazing people in the community. I was truly hyped, not just for the work, but for the people, the energy, the sense of belonging. In parallel with my job, I was finally doing something that made me feel useful and fulfilled me deeply. My vision with the translation project and the community was bigger than just coding. I wanted somehow to transform programming for me into something more romantic, more cultural, something like that. A way to connect, share, and inspire. I genuinely love what I do. So for me, it's not just a job, it's a passion. At that time, I was hyped, motivated, and truly happy, but as often happens when you start something new, difficulties come. When I shared with friends and others about the translation project, I wasn't met with encouragement. Instead of hearing, good job, that's something amazing, that's something special, that's unique, I heard, why are you wasting your time with this? Who is ever going to read the documentation in Greek? Everyone knows English. And all of this was happening at the very first time we were planning this event. We faced difficulties right from the beginning. And I won't hide it, I felt strange, even broken inside. I asked myself, we are planning to do something great, so why there are so many obstacles? Why should I feel like this? You know, when you have started, when you have goals and dreams, when you dedicate your time and energy because you want to give, it hurts. It hurts when people don't believe in you, when they can't see or understand your vision. For me, this project, I would say, is more than just translation, just a community. It is, and it was a way out, an answer to a personal struggle I have been carrying for almost 8 years. And yes, there were moments when I thought, maybe I'm not doing well. Maybe I should dedicate my time somewhere else. I don't know about the rest of the world, but here in Greece, I have seen many people who simply don't understand what it means to what it means to love what you do. And when you set high goals for yourself, when you want to dedicate your time and energy for something meaningful, obstacles will always come. And at the same time, life pressures you. It's hard, it's psychological, painful, and you don't know if the result will ever come. But still, you have to keep going. You have to keep working, keep dedicating, even without knowing the outcome.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
But despite the difficulties, you have to keep going. When you find the right people, the right vibe, you feel motivated to continue, and that's when the good things start to come. We start doing meaningful work, and I had the chance to explore things I had never done before, gaining new experience along the way. Conference appearances, fresh ideas, and new initiatives for the community. All this was deeply creative and inspiring. The interaction, the feedback was incredible. You could truly feel that we were building something meaningful. The community kept growing, and before long, we began shaping the first ever PyCon Greece. And all of this gave us the energy and the boost to keep going. We transferred the Python docs translation project to the official Python organization on GitHub. At the same time, we were also working on organizing PyCon Greece. I was doing things I had never imagined of. At the same time, I was deeply involved in so many processes for the conference, searching for quotes, talking to vendors, reaching out to potential sponsors and companies. Of course, we had difficult times, and yes, we sometimes doubted ourselves. But that's the part of the journey. That's the hard way and the way you truly learn and sharpen your craft. Meanwhile, I was chasing another dream, publishing the translation. After almost a year of work with so many contributors involved, I wanted to finally see Greek appear in the language selector of the Python documentation. I knew what that moment would mean so much, not only for me, but for everyone who contributed. Their work would finally be visible, online, and alive. And beyond that, publishing would attract new contributors, bring us valuable feedback, and prove that together we are building something real. The result? The translation went live, not just for one version, but for 3.12, 3.13, and 3.14. Now you can actually see Greek as a language option on Python documentation with about 20% already translated, and the work doesn't stop there. We keep adding new files, and the number of contributors keep growing. And as you may realize, the first ever PyCon Greece is no longer just a dream, it is real. It belongs to the whole team, every volunteer, every person who believed in us. So, thank you all. This story is a proof that even the smallest steps, some commits, a PR, can lead you somewhere you never imagined. Believe it, love what you do, and just do it. Passion and persistence will carry you further than you think. Stay hungry, have the audacity to try, and let's see where the next steps can take us. Thank you very much.